Chief Secretary says attacks are part of plot to destroy his administration. High-level stakeholder debate, THA receiving a greater portion of the budget. Pineapple farmers call for more support, and in sport, Josh Telemak scores hat-trick in secondary schools T10 blast. Good evening, I'm Patricia Nicholson-Richards. This is the Tobago Updates Television News for Tuesday, 27th June 2023. In our top story this evening, all of the allegations and accusations leveled against the Chief Secretary, Farley Augustine, are all part of a well-orchestrated plot to undermine the present administration. This was the view of Augustine when he appeared on Good Morning Tobago. Here's Candice Jackson with more.
Monday's reading of the budget presentation was accompanied by a protest from a small group of individuals in James Park. Chief Secretary Farley Augustine said he took note of the identity of those involved.
Because when I look at the handful of supporters yesterday, and it was a handful, I'm seeing among the handful people who were implicated in the audit report for being corrupt. And it says to me that they have aligned themselves fully behind those who attempted to steal from Tobagos.
According to Augustine, there is no evidence to show that the current administration mishandled public funds. Additionally, nothing should stand in the way of the THA being granted 6.9% of the national budget.
In fact, the minority has been saying, well, people suffering, people struggling, people need more, but people can't do more.
The THA is still without a chief administrator. While the matter descended into a blame game between the Prime Minister and the Chief Secretary, Augustine presented evidence to support his claim that the Prime Minister was at fault.
The Prime Minister pursuing about a chief administrator, we see in the protest, we see the demand report and so on. Just pay them and forget the report. All of that is a part of a larger plot that they have to try to squash the report, because
the Chief Secretary alluded to it being a deliberate attempt to interfere in the business of Tobago.
Because at the end of the day, I'm the one leading the space. The chief administrator becomes my chief advisor. And of what interest is the Prime Minister in picking the chief advisor for the Chief Secretary, except if he wants to destroy the Chief Secretary?
The debacle resulted in the Prime Minister declaring he would not have any future conversations with the Chief Secretary unless a third party was present.
We'll tell him I'll work with the crosses certificate or when I'm coming to the meetings with him, so I'll have a third party.
As for the controversial audio clip, Augustine defended the discussion about shaping the narrative, saying it was a part of governance.
When you listen to the wider clip, you realize that it was a much wider conversation about how often secretaries ought to make themselves available to the media. Should we engage other people to fight the wars for us online? All of this was a broader strategic conversation that was had.
Candice Jackson reporting for Tobago Updates Television News.
Well, the Chief Secretary is requesting a 6.9% allocation from the central government in line with the maximum outlined in the Dispute Resolution Committee ruling. However, the THA was never granted 6.9%. On last night's For the Hour, high-level stakeholders debated whether the THA should be given more financial power. Here's Candice Jackson again.
Minority Leader Kelvin Morris disagreed with the THA requesting 6.9% of the national budget due to allegations of poor management. However, former Minister of Finance Mariano Brown claims Tobagos Economy does not support large investments.
Tobago has a population of approximately 60,000 people, right, which is not a maintainable size for any significant amount of development. So what we have to ask ourselves the question is, how much for job development or job generation do we need to spend, and over what particular time?
However, political scientist Dr. Shane Mohammed said population size is no reason for Tobago to receive less funding.
And it is a lack of political will. And there are countries that are prospering with less than 60,000 people in the population. There are countries in the region that are prospering, independent countries that are prospering, and they are there's a thrust towards economic growth in tourism, in renewable energy.
Meanwhile, political analyst Dr. Tobago was never given a chance to prove what it can do with the money.
Don't tell me that, okay, it's a real politic thing, and therefore we've got to pay attention of the situation. I will make my own realities. I will respond to realities that others make. But I want to have the determining say in what happens to me.
Speaking in defense of the budget statement, economist Anselm Richards explained it is why the budget spoke to certain investments.
This was deliberate. The conversation was deliberate that we need to invest in fixing these institutions. And key to that is our governance arrangement, the constitution and legislation that sets up the relationship.
While many stakeholders argue that Tobago should get a greater share of the budget based on energy resources within the waters surrounding the island, Brown said,
the energy sector, which drives our foreign exchange earnings and generates about 80% of foreign exchange earnings, is in distress. So whatever budget you expect, it says it very clearly, Trinidad and Tobago is going to be in a deficit position in this budget and in the following budget to go.
Reporting for Television News.
Lending her opinion on the reading of the THA budget statement, the political leader of the Innovative Democratic Alliance, Dr. Denise Sawyer Angus, claimed the budget lacked revenue-generating plans. Speaking on the Tobago Updates morning show, she explained that the budget needed to explore long-term benefits.
How do we spend it in such a way that we are building industries such that there is a return on an investment over time when you set up these industries?
Even though the THA announced initiatives that would benefit the private sector in Tobago, Dr. Sawyer Angus explained hosting events like Carnival must go beyond generating revenue from ticket sales and placing heads on beds.
How do we move that carnival event from just, where it is into blossoming such that even though the carnival event has taken place, over the next year you're seeing spin-offs from the investment you made into that carnival product?
According to Dr. Angus, the budget lacked recovery plans for the economy and the citizens who are still experiencing the negative effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. We go to a short break and come back with more.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
Are you flood ready? Review and update insurance coverage. Install floodgates and barriers. Create a family flood plan. An initiative to help people prevent, prepare, recover. TATIL, where people are people.
Jimmy's Holiday Resorts has 1, 2, and 3-bedroom fully self-contained apartments located at the heart of Crown Point. Minutes walk to the popular beaches, restaurants, bars, and the airport. Enjoy our amazing amenities such as fully equipped apartments, complete with Wi-Fi, AC, TV, and a pool, and a mini-mart on the compound. Call 639-8292 or 8929. Jimmy's Holiday Resorts is your family's home away from home.
This is the Tobago Updates Television News. Ramesh Ramsume, president of the Tableland Pineapple Association, is passionate about boosting the agricultural sector here in Tobago and Trinidad. Ramsume calls on the government and the citizens to foster an enabling environment for local food production to thrive.
Food prices continue to plummet globally, and Rams believes increasing our domestic agriculture is the solution.
But our foreign food import bills continue to impact on the livelihoods because the war in Ukraine, wheat prices just went up and other prices just went up because of the continuing war. But we in Trinidad and Tobago must wake up to the call to continue to try to produce as much local produce that we can.
The Tableland Pineapple Association is willing to help Tobago produce pineapple and is committed to sharing his knowledge on the crop cultivation with the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
This sucker is very important. It's one of the better varieties in the world, and the TPFA is willing to support Tobago by supplying some of these suckers and to share that knowledge that was gathered for four decades to Tobago and also to Trinidad.
Additionally, in light of local government elections, he called on the government to highlight their plans to advance the local agricultural sector.
And farmer fisherfolk need the support of the government of the day, and I do hope that the Honorable Prime Minister in his campaign in the next few weeks will touch on our foreign food import bill and the local food production both in Tobago and Trinidad that need more financial support. And
Mr. Ramsumer expressed his concerns about a meeting held by the Ministry of Health with stakeholders from various franchises in relation to providing children with juice alternatives. He further noted that local farmers were not consulted to provide more natural fruit beverages.
As interim president of the Pineapple Association, would have thought that the agricultural sector would have been invited so that we can continue to produce and increase the production of local fruits that we can provide for the school feeding program so that children can have a healthy alternative.
Chane Campbell, Tobago Updates News.
Dr. Nurse, president of the College of Science, Technology and Applied Arts of Trinidad and Tobago, says the institution is undergoing several improvements to better meet the needs of students. Reporter Chane Campbell has more in this report.
On a mission to expand their offerings. This refocus is based on 3 integral pillars.
What we have done is to refocus the college's offerings, particularly on 3 planks. 1, digital. So digital media, digital arts, and digital technologies have become more embedded in several of our schools. The other key area that we've expanded on is in the area of sustainability studies. So we have now created a new school that's entitled Environment, Circular Economy, and Sustainability. And we've infused sustainability throughout all of our programming in all of the schools. And then the third area is really global, a stronger global focus.
Further, Dr. Nurse added that COSTAT has implemented several projects in keeping with this strategic focus, include providing students with practical learning outcomes.
We're building out what we call an Upskilling Academy. And the Upskilling Academy has a new dimension to it, which is that it's not training for training's sake. It's a focus creating experience, an incubator where you get business coaching and so on.
Ultimately, Dr. Nurse invited persons to join the institution, describing it as a haven to hone professional competency.
COSTAT is a good location and a good provider for anyone who wants to upgrade with their career or move into a new entrepreneurial opportunity. Higher education has really been transformed in the last few years and rising to the challenge.
I am reporting for Tobago Updates News.
Find out which Tobago cricketer scored a hat-trick when we come back. Sport is next.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
We party till we drop down there with a lot of pretty girls down there, down in Tobago.
Right now, Tobagonians are just currying down to Bon Accord, right in Stobie Local Road. You know why? To come down and shop at Authentic Builders General Hardware, the only hardware store in Tobago that is giving you guys Trinidad prices. So for instance, such as steel, 1/2 inch and 5/8, $7,895. 5/8 construction ply for $260. Every single thing that you will need to do your home renovation or start your new construction, we have it right here. And to get your quotation, it's very easy. Just WhatsApp us at 272-1990 and we will do your free WhatsApp quotation for you.
Are you flood ready? Recycle and properly dispose of large waste. Avoid sweeping yard clippings or trash into drains. Plant trees to avoid soil erosion. An initiative to help people prevent, prepare, recover. TATL, where people are people. Are you flood ready? Monitor trusted sources for info. Wear protective gear when you clean up. Contact your insurance provider to assess the damage. An initiative to help people prevent, prepare, recover. TATL, where people are people.
October will never be better with Tobago Carnival Fever. Okay, passage and come on over.
Welcome to sport. Infrastructure to help support Tobago's sporting industry received special attention in yesterday's budget presentation by Chief Secretary Farley Augustine. Marcus Daniel brings you highlights in this report.
A modern cricket stadium is among several sporting plans announced by Chief Secretary Farley Augustine during his budget presentation on Monday. 5 minutes of his 3-hour-long presentation was dedicated to sporting initiatives. Augustine stated talks are well underway for Tobago's first international cricket facility.
My administration is currently in discussion with an international entity that is interested in establishing a modern cricket stadium in Tobago. This development will enhance Tobago's sport tourism offerings. With such a facility, we can approach the Caribbean T20 franchise holders, for example, with a proposal to include Tobago in their annual T20 calendar. The proposal from the international entity has already been received by the THA and is currently being reviewed.
The Chief Secretary also gave an assurance that the indoor facility at Bacalat, the Goodwood Pavilion, as well as a motorsport facility at Friendship Estate will be completed. He touched on the upcoming Commonwealth Youth Games, where the THA is currently constructing the country's first volleyball beach facility at Blackrock.
Madam Presiding Officer, as you know, we are in the process of getting a number of our facilities ready for our hosting of the 2023 Commonwealth Youth Games in August. Our approach is to ensure that Tobago sportsmen and sportswomen benefit from the upgrade works long after the games are finished. In this regard, we are building the first full-size beach volleyball facility in the entire country at Blacktop. This is a significant legacy item. In keeping with this strategy, we are very deliberate with our purchasing of the equipment for these 4 sporting disciplines to be hosted in Tobago, namely beach football, beach volleyball, netball, rugby, and the triathlon. We are also hosting the closing ceremony, which we have taken a decision to use as a global marketing event for our tourism efforts.
In addition, Augustine announced that his administration will implement a recognition and reward system which will provide incentives for sportsmen and women who excel at regional and international events. There will also be 21st century training for coaches with an emphasis on sports science, health, and technology. Meanwhile, out of a budget estimate of $4.5 billion, the Division of Community Development, Youth Development and Sports was allocated $162.84 million, with a further $5.8 million set aside for assistance to sporting organizations. Marcus Daniel, Tobago Update Sports.
Former Bishop's High School student Josh Telemark scored a hat-trick in the KFC Secondary School's Golden Cup T10 series. Here's Marcus Daniel once again.
Left-arm media pacer Josh Telemark grabbed the first hat-trick of his playing career in the KFC Secondary School's Golden Cup T10 series. Playing for a new school, St. Benedict's College, Telemark delivered the tournament's first hat-trick in a telling spell of pace bowling against Hillview's College. The former Bishop's High School student-athlete opened his account in the 4th over when he uprooted the off-stump of Andre Suklal from a quick delivery just back. However, it was in the 10th and final over of Hillview's innings, Telemark delivered the magic. First, he cleaned up Saga with a slower delivery. He then had a new batsman, Adish Singh, beating for pace and was wrapped on the pad in front of his stumps to be dismissed leg before wicket. The hat-trick was completed with another stump out of the ground, which was Ricky Raghunan bowled between the gates to spark wild celebrations. Telemark, who represented beaten finalist Soka Kings in the just concluded Trinidad T10 Blast, ended the match with 4 wickets for 10 runs, unsurprisingly the tournament's best figures. Despite his heroics with the ball, St. Benedict's were defeated by 56 runs, chasing 97 for victory. Presentation College San Fernando then beat Hillview College by 16 runs to complete an unprecedented treble in the Secondary Schools Cricket League. As part of its golden anniversary celebratory activities, KFC partnered with the Secondary Schools Cricket League and broadcast company Rodeo Communications to host a tournament among the country's top 8 schools. The competing schools were Presentation College, St. Mary's, Fatima, Vishnu Boys, Hillview, St. Benedict's, Shiva Boys Colleges, and Princess Town West.
That was Candice Jackson with that sport report. We'll take a short break and come back with more news. Stay close.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your life can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. Don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry. If your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. If sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry. If times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you.
Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Coconut Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meats served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Former chairman of the THA, Dr. Jefferson Davidson, was laid to rest last Friday. Here's reporter Brianna Brebner with highlights from the funeral service.
The pews were filled with mourners at the Roxburgh Ebenezer Church as they gathered to bid farewell to the late Dr. Jefferson Davidson. Etched in their faces with grief and remembrance were memories of a true Tobagonian who battled to give the island its own executive and autonomous powers. Davidson, an author of several publications, would be remembered for his contribution to public service in Tobago. Members of the THA Executive Council were present at the service, along with former members Stanley Baird, Ashwood Jack, Regis Carruth, and former PNM Tobago Council political leader Tracy Davidson Celestine, with several tributes of those in attendance and his nephew Lyle Alexander. He viewed him as impartial. Present was the Chief Secretary who gave these remarks.
We are grateful that he was part of the voices that led Tobago to the point that we now enjoy a THA with far greater powers than we had in his time. Sometimes I wonder what would those men have been able to achieve if they had the powers of Act 40 of 1996 back then. Tobago today, perhaps the very fashion and style of Dr. Davidson, very calm ceremony, is celebrating the loss of one of its heroes. We are thankful for what Dr. Davidson has done for the island.
Jefferson, a man of unwavering integrity and boundless compassion, left an indelible mark on the lives of all who knew him. With his warm smile and gentle nature, he touched the hearts of countless individuals, earning their respect and admiration. Honesty as his main attribute, Dr. Davidson, who passed at the age 95, was a recipient of the Public Service Medal of Merit Gold in 2015 and the Tobago Medal of Honor Gold for his distinguished and outstanding service in the Fair of Public Service at the 2023 THA Awards. As Reverend Adolph Davis delivered the sermon, he said that persons would say, "Well done, good and faithful Jeff," but he believes well done starts and ends with a relationship with Christ Jesus. As Reverend David presented, he said,
Problem in our society is that I don't think people understand that the problem is sin and the solution is Jesus Christ.
I am Brianna Brebner of Tobago Updates Television News.
Recapping the headlines, Chief Secretary said attacks are part of a plot to destroy his administration. High-level stakeholders debate THA receiving a greater portion of the budget. Pineapple farmers call for more support. And in sport, Josh Telemack scores hat-trick in secondary schools T10 Blast. I'm Patricia Nicholson Richards, thanking you so much for joining us and wishing you a good night.